Okay, so let's get off to the mat. You're ready. Whew. Looking forward to today. So we're going to be looking at extra core, strong core from the top and from the bottom at the same time today. So we're going to feel the strength, the full strength of our body, which is a really nice, I love doing this module. So we've got tiptoes and heels. We're getting into a nice rhythm. Feeling that roll forwards and back, forwards and back. Noticing the floor beneath, really paying attention. And at the same time, just starting to feel into those arches, the big toe, the little toe, they're all working away there. Strengthening the beginning of that arch as we work. And then we'll just bring it to stillness when it starts to get a bit too much. You'll start to feel that sense, and then allowing the feet to spread and relax as we usually do, but also just paying attention a little bit to that arch of that big toe so that we know that we are rooting down, so we can feel that golden arch lifting up through the kneecaps and the inner thighs, picking up our marble here, and just feeling that connection from the feet right down. It's like a root. Then, before we do this, I forgot this last week in one of the classes this week to do the hands, feet, and face before we started, and it was only halfway through. I realised because I was so keen to do this root. So nice massage of the hands, pinch of the fingertips, whatever it is that you like to do to wake those hands up and press. Here, coming in. Nice press of the hands. And then a gentle observation there to see, can we feel the hands, can we feel the feet? And then taking it to the mouth as well. So we'll just start with this one. We'll be doing it for a little while, pressing the thumb here and the finger here, pressing into the back of the head. 1, 2, 3, and release. And again, 1, 2, 3, and release. 1, 2, 3, and release. And then getting the tongue in the cheek and going up and down with the cheek. Until you're tired, you want to feel that fatigue in the tongue. And then when that comes, swap. And then just notice the mouth relax there. And either stroking, or use your little stroke, or tapping, just to accentuate that release. And we're really aware that that jaw is letting go, and we can feel the feet and the hands and the face. And just have that moment, take that breath in, and breathing out, join them together, feet, hands, and face in one. Feet, hands, and face. I am safe. And I'm going to bring the hands into position. Okay, back to our root. So remember, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. When we pick up our marble and we use the big toes, we feel like we're anchored into the ground, which allows us to lift more, to open more. And then last week we did the rose arch where we were pulling through the arms, breathing in, lengthening the spine. And it really allows us to open beautifully. Out breath coming into forward bend. As you breathe out again, activating that core, picking up the marble. So you can really fold properly, let the head go. In breath, we're looking up, flattening the back. It's a slight S shape, so you can lose the grip on the marble down there. So keep the grip on the marble and then allow yourself to come down again and relax the jaw. Angle that head. The stronger your connection to the core, the easier it's going to be to dangle that head. Feel its weight. And then taking a step back. Here we go. Dragon pose. We're pushing through the hands initially to relax the legs as much as possible and to feel that sense of leaving the leg behind and having a good groin stretch. Then we need to activate half of this golden arch at the front here, pressing the big toe and the little toe in, lifting your arch. You've got the foot there handy. So if you find it difficult to press the big toe and the little toe, use your hands. And then we're pushing through, breathing in, reaching up. And then bringing the hands to the floor. Again, push away and relax the legs evenly. So as we bring the hands to the floor and come into our plank pose, we are feeling here the rose arch, as I like to call it, the top arch, so the hands through the heels, through the inner arms, to the chest, down to the belly button, and the golden arch both working together. And see how much warmer and stronger you feel when the two are evenly working out. Now, even if you want to come down and do like a kind of push-up down, push through the feet, activate that golden arch so you can really control from both areas, and then resting. Placing the breastbone on the floor, releasing the hands and the head, and rocking. Getting into a nice gentle rock. Upper half of the body, letting go, lower half of the body in a rhythm. Find the song, the rhyme, the drum beat, the count, whatever you like. And then bring it to stillness and just allowing yourself to rest a little bit. Feel the response in the body. Okay, so we come into doing our cobra pose. Again, we want to be anchored. So think about picking up that marble, anchoring you down, and then allowing yourself to reach from there, breathing in, opening the chest, rolling the shoulders back, creating nice space in the spine. And then as you push with the rose arch, push with the golden arch evenly, so that you can easily come back and over. And let the heel of the hands release. The wrists, the elbows, the shoulders, nice space created there, all the way down the back. Now, if you breathe out and engage your core, you're going to feel it far further down the back. And if the diaphragm's in the way there, keeping nice and tight, then give yourself a little rock, right to side. And then once again, releasing down. And then we'll bring the hands closer in. I'm going to pull on the hands as you breathe in, creating that S shape. Push on the hands and the knees, so we've got both the rose and the golden arch working evenly as you come into C shape. Feel that marble lift. Pull on the S. Feel that rose arch there. Push. And C. Lovely. Couple more, just to get a real sense of these arches doing their work here, and how, when the arches are active, it means that the spine, the muscles around the spine can loosen and allow a little bit more fluidity and stretch in the spine. Now, from an S shape, we're going to come up into our downward dog. So tucking the toes under. Nice S shape with the spine. Push through the hands and feel the golden arch. So the back of the body, remember, is stretching, but the golden arch at the front and the belly button pulling in and the marble lifting is still happening and the arms being active is still happening. And we're trying to make these lines of connection. Okay, so the lines of connection from the arches of the feet through the knees, up through the inner thigh, into the belly button, And the other lines of connection from the wrists through the inner arm to the breastbone and also down to the belly button. Front of the body is active and back of the body is relaxing. Breathe. Now when you're ready, whichever leg went back, now that leg comes forward. And lean in. Feel that lean. Push the floor away from you. Gentle push. Wait for it to give way so you feel that leg being left behind again. You've got the toes right there, so use them, big toe, little toe arch to come up. Keep nice and stable, breathing in, reach up with the rose arch to support what's going down below with a reach here. And we're going to bring this back foot forwards. Forward bend, letting the head go. As you breathe out, pull in that belly button, pick up your marble, grab hold of your elbows, allow yourself to really dangle here. And then a little rock side to side. And bring it to stillness. We're going to breathe in, flatten the back. Coming down breastbone first. Letting the head go, relaxing the jaw. Bending the knees gently and curling. Find that root, that anchor, so you can really fully reach out of it, breathing in. Lengthening the spine. Opening the chest, bring the hands together and draw that line down the center of the body. Now, if you need to draw it all the way down, it should be a little bit more alive since what we've been doing is in this area the last couple of weeks. Feel that line there. Feel the feet either side of the central line, the hands on the line, the jaw relaxing into that line. Take a breath. Feel feet, hands, and face, but also feel this line and draw all your awareness and attention into this line, really centering yourself. Really centering yourself. Just in this moment, for a moment, be here right now. Okay, so if we come to the grounding exercise today, this is going to be really relevant to what we're going to do today, because what we're going to do today is put 2 and 2 together and make 10, because you're more than doubly strong when you use both your arches. So we're here in this pyramid pose. And so we can feel, hopefully, the big toes working away there. We can feel the little lift of the golden arch. We're pushing through that rose arch, and we can sort of feel the strength here in the front of the body. Take a breath. And then rotating around. And we're going to do this slightly differently than we normally do. We're going to go over to the right or the left, back to the center, and then over to the same side. And then back to the center. One more time. Yeah, and then we're going to go 3 times the other way. And again, feeling those lines of connection, that push through both the arches, still there. And the third time. And then back to the center. And again, just to feel those lines of connection. And what that does is it helps us to connect into here, into the heart space, which then means it's going to be a bit easier to feel all of these lines of connection. So we're going to look at it. If you think about it, a bit like a spider's web, okay? The spider's web has 4 strong strands, so the strongest strands that are made first, okay? The way the spider makes it, it's a cross, but we're going to do it like this with the arches. So big toe, little toe, lifting up. This is reviewing what we did a couple of weeks ago. Lifting up the arch, lifting up the kneecaps. Feeling that inner thigh. Here comes the arch. We pick up the marble and it comes all the way to the belly button. And then last week we added the rose arch. So this is where we were hanging off the trapeze for dear life, right? And we can feel that kind of clutching, holding feeling. It's kind of a push and a pull at the same time. And we're making this rose arch, which meets here in the sternum, and then following that down to the belly button. And the way that we did that was by bending the knees, yeah, and going onto one foot and just pretending that we're going to try and lift that leg onto that trapeze bar. So we're still holding on because we're dangling at the top of the surface and we're lifting the leg either knee bent or straight, but you want to feel this line of connection going all the way through from the top to the bottom. Obviously, you don't have to even lift your foot off the ground to feel that. You could just be on the top of the big toe here if you wanted. But whatever makes you feel it. So you can feel that this spider's web, these 4 strands, are connected into here. And of course, the way that the spiders do it is crossways, and it's really important crossways. So we're going to take one straight leg, we'll do a bit of a balance. We're going to do it twice, okay? So the first time, the hands on the waist. Feel that big toe push in, the little toe, the half of the arch there as you lift your knee. Okay, see like how wobbly we are. Now, if you bring the opposite arm now and reach, see how much more stable we become. We're still wobbling on that foot, but somehow we can feel that cross of the, of the connection that makes it easier. Now, this time we don't have to do it just without, we can just go straight into it. So it's the leg on the opposite arm to the straight leg and reach. And you see it just creates this stability. So it's not just bilateral, side to side, it's cross-lateral. So in a pose like the dancer pose, for example, we do it bilaterally, right? So we have, rotate, we have one leg bent, one leg straight, and it's that arm, the same arm. Yeah, but it's still doing the job of keeping us stable. So it feels different though to the cross-lateral. Reaching. Make sure this rose arch is properly activated. So you want to even. You want to feel that the whole body is working together. And I guess a good way to sort of visualize this is to think, right, if I were carrying a really heavy wheelbarrow up a hill full of compost, right, and I was only using my legs, the wheelbarrow would be like this. Yeah, it would be really difficult. If I was only using my arms, I'd be going nowhere, right? So I want to have both evenly pushing so that the whole of this engages and the whole of us is involved in the motion. Okay, and that's kind of what the core does. It's the motor engine of movement for the body. It creates our strength, and then because it's strong at the front, it allows the back to relax. Okay, so that's what this whole lesson is going to be about. So let's come either bringing your hands above the knee or below the knees, but not on the knee. Table pose. Okay, so I always think of the IKEA tables that fold up against the wall here. Right, the arms have got to work quite hard here. Okay, so the table doesn't collapse. But so do the feet. The feet have to work as well. So even push between legs and feet, the golden arch and the rose arch working together. And then the table part, we want to feel it at the front rather than the back. We want to feel that connection at the front there. Now, as you slide the arms down to come into your forward bend, keep a slight tension up in the arms. Just a slight tension. Breathe out, pick up your marble. And just notice that as you keep going as far as you can in terms of stretching, if you keep the hands active right to the end, you can almost feel that line. And then once you're in full position, just let go of the head and notice this is a good forward bend. Every time you breathe out, you can really dangle. Remember to check your weight distribution. You're not too far forward or too far back. You're really in the center of those arches and that they're being used. It's a really nice forward bend. Now, wherever you've got your hands, and it really doesn't matter where you're reaching, okay, so We're going to transfer the weight onto one side. Use the hands on the floor or both hands on the shins if you can't reach the floor or wherever you can reach. And we're going to take one leg up and back. Now here we need to, again, we can compensate too much and be leaning forwards on the arms, making the rose arch do too much work and the golden arch not doing much, okay? So make sure that they're even. And just notice how when they're even, this leg just floats. It floats up. There's not a lot of strength needed because it's so supported by these other arches. Just swap sides. Again, feel the difference. Are you using, like I've got a weaker left side here, my golden arch is a bit weaker, so I need to work harder at it. Get that leg to lift. Lovely. Bring the feet back. Let's have another little forward bend here after that. Nice hamstring stretch going on there. Even in a twist, so if we've got the hand sort of roughly in the middle of the feet, use your toes. We're going to rotate. Now we've got the golden arch working here, but we want the rose arch as well. So slight reach through the arms. Breathe. Again, spending as long as you like in that position, and rotating around when you're ready. And still active with both arches, meeting them in the middle. When we're done, let's just dangle for a moment, maybe grab hold of the elbows, let go of the jaw. Anchoring with the core. We're going to reach with the hands. We're going to work a little bit of this in downward dog, so taking a step back. So both arches need to be working here, both the rose and the golden arch, especially if we're going to sort of take a leg off the floor. Now, some of us, and for me for years, I used to get a pain in my hip when I tried to do this, and that was down to the fact that the core was weak. So as always, if you feel compensation happening anywhere in the body, strengthen the lines of connection, strengthen the arch. So if we take one foot off, 3 limbs now, half the golden arch and the rose arch supporting that leg. Try both sides. Get that core engaging. Just feel like that leg is floating, that it's light because it's so supported. All right, nice little stretch here with both legs before we go down. And we're going to just allow ourselves to come into child pose for a moment. Just bring your hands by the feet. And each out breath that you take particularly, see if you can feel that line down the center of the body. And then those lines of connection, you might want to trace them all the way from the arch of the foot and the heel of the hand back to that belly button. Okay, so obviously once we're sitting down, the golden arch of support is kind of gone. And so our marble lifting, our core, is going to have to work even harder. Okay? And so this exercise is part of what a baby does. So if you remember, the reflex is S to C for the core. So either with the hands on your knees, you're going to pull. Feel that rose arch. And the marble is still lifted if you can manage it. And then push. And you lift your marble. You might feel the inner thighs respond as well. And the rose arch is still there. Pull. And push. Now you might need to change the sort of cross of your legs for this next one. So what does a baby do? Like, how does a baby sort of manage to make this connection? And one of the ways is by doing this exercise. So there they are, they're on the floor, they're doing their S to C. And then at some point, the core is strong enough, the arms are strong enough that they pull and lift themselves forward. Okay? Now, if you can't get off the floor, that's okay. Just practicing it, that pull. Can you feel the core? It's a slight S shape, so you've got to have that core in the S shape. Pull and draw yourself. Now do it really slowly. If you can do it well, do it really slowly so you can really feel it. Rose arch, inner thighs, and your core. Now coming back, you need it even more. Pull. Lift yourself down. You can see it's not easy. Yeah, but those kind of exercises, when we're imitating exactly what the baby does, are sometimes the best ones to get it in your head what you need to do. Okay, let's come back to boat. So we've been doing boat for a while now. Let's just do half a boat here. So we've got the half an arch and half an arch, okay? And lift up that marble. Just notice, because it can be really different between one side of the core and the other. How easy or difficult is it to do that? And if you're finding it really easy, then let go and reach. And how easy is it to do that? Okay, and then try the other side. First with the hand there. See, this feels easier for me. But if I let go, still feels a bit easier than the other side. Okay? All right, two together. So I would recommend that you start first with the hands on the foot, or if you can't reach your foot, wherever you can reach, but you're still reaching. And this pushing through the foot into the hand helps a lot to hold you up. Engage your core. Okay, now see, if I let go, what happens? Oh, I've got to pick up that marble, right? If you rolled back, pull yourself forward by the core. Pull your legs up and pull yourself forward by the core. And that's how you're going to strengthen it. It's difficult. It's not an easy one. All right. Now, when we try and do this and the psoas is stretching, those of us that like to use our psoas as compensation, right? When we are with the legs wide, we can't use the psoas as effectively, so then it becomes even harder. You can see I'm wobbling a lot more here. But I'm using my rose arch, I'm pushing with the big toe into my hand to create that pull. I'm picking up my marble, I can feel my inner arch is working as I push on the big toe, because the big toe is active, the arch is active. And it allows me to just hold myself a little bit more securely. There. Well done. Now, if you come back from that and your back is aching, that's because you're using your back muscles instead of your core muscle. So really get that differentiation between front and back. We'll do a bit more of that on that later. Okay, so cross the body. Okay, so that's the bilateral. So across the body, so this is opposite hand to opposite foot. There's a nice twist here as well. Same principle, right? We've got half an arch and half an arch. We're putting the two together, making a full arch. But then we can bring this arm around, open out, breathe in and lengthen. Breathe out, pull up the marble. See how when you pull up the marble, you can wring out a bit more of your spine. Look over the shoulder. But keep those lines of connection active. Don't go all floppy at the front. And you know what comes next, so when you're ready, just swap sides. Opening out. Breathing in, lengthening. Breathing out, pulling in the marble. Rotating. Lovely. Okay, let's circle a little bit. There's a lot of stretching there, not much circling. So even as you circle, be aware You can pick up your marble at the back, keep it picked up as you roll around. And notice also that it is the core that is motor managing this movement. Again, we'll do a little bit more of that in a minute. At the moment, we're just trying to get these lines of connections really clear. Really, really clear. And really strong as well. We're kind of strengthening them as we go along. Lovely. So just keep going with that as long as you're comfortable with it. Because we're coming to do our lovely little strengthening exercise, which is the swing. I'm always saying with the swing, the arms are like the A-frame. They are active, but they're not overactive. So bring your hands a little bit closer towards your knees and get your body into a C shape. Yeah, if the hands are too far behind, it's not the same. Now, we're not going to necessarily get the bottom off the ground, but we're trying. But it has to be an evenness between pushing with the hands and lifting with the core. Pushing with the hands and lifting with the core. If one is doing too much work, it's compensating for the lack of strength of the other one, and we want the whole thing to be even. Okay. All right, so I'm hoping those lines of connections have been really well met. We're going to come up to standing. So, no, actually, I wanted to do this Feldenkrais move with you. So, how to get up off the floor? We've got foot on the ground, hand on the ground, opposite hand, opposite foot. And we just do this Feldenkrais move first. So when these two arches are working, it's easy to lift the bottom off the ground. So make sure it's opposite, the foot that's on the floor is the opposite hand. So that, Katrin, I can see you're on the wrong side, so it's the other hand on the floor. That one, yeah. And now you're pushing on that foot and lifting here. Yeah, that's it. So here we go, we've got it. So the way that this Feldenkrais move goes is that you lift up, you rotate all the way around, you swap hands, and then using the other foot and the other hand, you bring yourself down. All right? Now, initially, it's like, what am I doing? But then soon, you'll be able to do it in one smooth move. And you can't do it very well or smoothly unless both sides of the arches are working with you. So if you're struggling, just think about these two supports. Okay, so how does this help get us up off the floor? Well, we can come up onto the knee, place the foot in front of us, and we're at this exercise that I've given you a while back. Now, tuck the toes under, lift either here or push either here. It doesn't really matter so long as the rose arch is there. And both arches, and you're up. Good, well done. And you think this is nothing, but this is the thing that you lose. This is what when I work with chair yoga, this is what I see they've lost, right? They've lost the ability to remember these movement patterns and to remember the strength of the whole body. They're often compensating. Okay, we're going to come back to this one, because this one really beautifully shows us the lines of connection. So it's like we're going to sit down. We've got the rose arch activated, we've got the golden arch. And then we're going to start, now you can bend the elbows, of course, here, but keep that rose arch at the top there going as we squat. Doesn't have to be far, but then as you push up, push evenly on the hands as much as you do with the feet. Okay, because this is what I mean, we become imbalanced. We're expecting to use the legs only, but the arms make it feel really easy. Yeah, and we're building up all the strength we need at the front of the body. And of course, you can go further down as you get a bit more flexible. You can just feel it. Okay, so moment of truth here. Might need to bring the legs a little bit closer. And we're going to come down as far as we can. One hand in front, one hand behind. And what have we got here? We've got at least one half of the rose arch supporting us as we use our core to sit down again. Well done. So it's starting to get tired. I've been doing this all week. And it's great because, you know, I can see how when you're working hard, you do feel a bit tired a bit quicker. And that's okay. It's fine. You know, it's all right to feel it. Just want to sort of bring it into some yoga poses now. So let's have one leg straight, one leg bent. And we're just going to reach forwards. And again, the arms can be active here. Slight pull is enough. That inner arch, all you have to do is really engage the knee. And pull up that kneecap. And then as you breathe out, lift up your marble, connect all the lines. And it's like, oh, look, I can hinge. And I can feel the front of the body managing this movement, the back of the body relaxing. And not only that, you're coming down nice and straight. Breathing out. Feel the lines of connection, the rose arch, the golden arch. So in Ashtanga Yoga, one of the things that they do over and over again that really builds up strength here is Chaturanga, which looks a bit like this. And you don't have to do it. I just thought I'd show. We've done some of it already. The hands are out in front. You pull forwards, bring yourself straight into plank pose. Drop down, roll up, upward dog. Feel the lines of connection there. Downward dog. Feel the lines of connection there. And then to come back down to sitting, we're back to plank pose, and we're using our core to fold the legs and bring ourselves back down without flopping down, which is what happens when your core gives way. All right, side bend, legs nice and wide. So trying to relax that psoas. Let's turn the body towards one leg. Let's roll down one side. Okay, anchor yourself down through the core. So feel that pull down, that rootingness that happens when we engage the core. You'll feel immediately the psoas stretch some more. And now the rose arch is here, we're reaching. Now make sure that you can feel all the arches, all the lines of connection, even if one of them isn't that active. Pick up your marble, notice what a difference it makes to how well you can stretch. You've got both sides to do, so again, take your own time. I love that pose, I could stay here for ages, so you can always catch up later if you want to. So turning, always forget that, it really helps. Rolling down, making sure that the golden arch, at least at this point, is engaged. Picking up your marble, bringing the arm over, reaching. Notice that when you engage the core and anchor down, it allows that psoas to release with so much more ease. Engage those arches. Even if it's just thinking about them, make them active. But if you want to, a little forward bend here while we're at it. It's really good to see how the psoas releases with so much ease when we're using these patterns at the front of the body. The slight pull with the arms can make the connection down the sternum towards the belly button, up the inner thighs towards the belly button as you pick up your marble. Feel how the whole front of the body is acting while the back of the body is letting go. Little back bend. So the reverse plank, obviously a really good example of this. Now the easiest way to do this if you're not used to it is to have the soles of the feet on the floor. If you want to work a bit harder, the heels. Okay, so we're going to push through the rose arch here. This is how we normally do it, nice and easy, just breathing in here, activating that rose arch. Now if we dig the heels or the feet into the floor and activate the golden arch as well and pick up our marble, our bottom should float. And again, if you feel back pain, pick up your marble more. Use the arches more. Controlling that descent. Again, I feel the need for nice little circles before we lie down. And seeing like that's so awake the front of the body. I mean, it does help that I've probably done this about 8 times a week, you know, but it's just like the more you do it, the more awake they become. All right, so we're going to come down onto the floor. So let's have the soles of the feet on the floor now. Reaching, pushing through the feet. Now, if you feel at any point that you're going to lose and plop yourself down, reach and push with the feet more. Reach and push with the feet more. Get that golden arch, pick the marble up, reach more. All the time, transferring the lack of strength in the back to the front. What's nice about that as well is that we come down and our spine is really nicely aligned too. And as I said last week, a couple of exercises that you can do lying down, which are quite nice, is just to activate the arch like this. Just feet up, hands reaching, feeling that line in the center of the body, and you can do sort of a couple of, oh, what if I were to reach a bit more and lift the head and lift the bottom evenly, top and bottom. This is just to activate. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, these are great. You can feel them. Obviously, in traditional yoga, we tend to be using the arms, so hands on the floor, nice and push, and the feet are pushing. You've got that golden arch and that rose arch, that just then again allows the bottom to lift off the ground with ease, and the back is relaxed, which means that we can get higher because there's less tension in it. Now, when you get to the S shape, remember, pick up your marble because you can drop it there and still activate the arms. It's not the only way to use the arms. You can also have the arms up and over with a slight reach. But again, make it even between the arms and the legs. And wherever you have your arms, as you come down, we're going to do this exercise. We did it last week as well, where we put one vertebra down and we stop. Engage your arches, put the next vertebra down. Stop. Engage your arches so that the arches are really managing you being able to put down your back one vertebra at a time. Stop in between each one. Re-engage your arches. Now, as you get lower, it's going to be harder. That's when you've got to really balance out. Pushing through the feet, reaching with the hands. Feeling that marble really lifted. One vertebra, stop. Engage the arches again. One vertebra, stop. Engage the arches again. Lovely. And of course, once the tailbone's on the floor, you can just release the arms. And see like how nicely aligned the back is. Those of us who have big arches underneath the back will find that it's much flatter. Now, because that arch in the back can compensate for lack of core as well. Let's bring the arms to the side. Now, if you're feeling tired, I don't want you to strain yourself, okay? So you can just
Do this stretch normally. One leg up in the air otherwise. The other foot, we've got it lined up with the coccyx. And what we're going to do is we're going to push slightly with the arms, push slightly with the foot, lift the pelvis off the ground and rotate it. And then carry on that rotation as you let the leg come to the side. No more pushing with the foot now, just the leg coming over. You see it's a bit of a struggle. Once you're all the way over, bring that foot to the knee, bring the other hand to the knee, look over the shoulder, and you're in a really nice twist. And as you breathe out and pull in, you can see that this movement is motor management. It's like the engine of the movement. It's right at the front of the body, allowing the back of the body to relax. And if you want to continue to work with the core, you can always straighten the leg here, push with the arms, lift with your belly button and your marble as you bring yourself back to center with the legs straight. I mean, it's quite hard. You might be tired and it's okay. Leg, other leg up, foot on the floor. We're going to do it that way, using both the rose arch and the golden arch here. Foot's lift the pelvis slightly off the floor so you can really rotate round. You've got as far as you can go, just bend the knee, place the foot on the knee, the other hand on the knee, look the opposite way, and there you are in your usual twist. And every time you breathe out, that core engages, and the back can stretch some more. You stretch out the leg and push through the feet and lift up. Again, use the arms, use the golden arch. And then release. Have a little rest here. Okay, so we're coming to fish pose. Now we did this last week, a little bit in fish pose. Today we're going to really notice how both arches really help in this pose. So as we stretch the legs out, we're sat on our hands and we're pushing through the rose arch here. Now it's really easy to not use the core in a pose like this, especially, and if you want to lift the head off the floor, you really need that core. So what we're going to do is we're going to lift the legs slightly off the ground, engage the golden arch, pick up your marble, push through the rose arch, and look at that, you suddenly lift off the ground with ease. Now you can put the legs back down, but don't lose the pickup of your marble. Wonderful. Be supported. Now the spine is able to stretch, the jaw and the head can let go. And to come down again, engage your core, both arches a little bit, roll, bring the head down to the floor and roll the head in. And release the arms. So it's one of the reasons why I don't teach with the head off the floor, is that it can strain people if you're not using your core enough. But the rewards are massive. When you come back, it's like, oh, the whole of the spine just wants to let go into the floor. It's really nicely aligned. And so apart from the S to C, there are other reflexes that really help train in the core, and in particular the pattern of the front of the body being core and the back of the body being relaxed. So tick-tock, for example, is one. So if you bring the toes together, you can feel that engagement. And today you might feel it all the way up to that rose arch, sternum. And then when you let go, it's like, oh, it's the back of the body's turn to let go. So it's tick and release. Tick and release. Tick and release. So we're getting into a nice rhythm. And each time, each tick, you can feel it. Each top, you can feel it. Just going to bring everything to stillness and just have a moment there to relax. And when we do so, we might still feel that every time we breathe out, the front of the body feels quite engaged and alive. Those lines of connection there, and the back of the body able to soften. Another reflex move that does this really well, one is the bottom roll, but we're not going to roll over. Let's just do feet together, knees together, and do this upright version, which can also be done on a chair like this. And again, just notice that I am managing this movement from the front of my body. So the feet are active. The rose arch not so much, but you might be able to feel the strands of connection there. And that the movement is all coming from that core area. And now in the back of the body, the ability to release. And just bring everything to stillness when we're done. And stretch out the legs again. Optional extra on this one, don't have to do it if you're feeling like you just want to get into under your blanket now, but knee bend rock. So when we push through, we are in C shape. Here we have the core engaging, and the rest of the body is really wobbly. So again, this is a good one to really feel how much this is a motor, an engine of our movement. The feet are working. We can feel the golden arch. We can feel the belly button. Hopefully not rolling backwards and forwards. It needs to be sort of up there most of the time. And the rest of the body can just relax a little bit and be a bit like jelly. Rose arch has got a day off. But even though it's got a day off, I can still feel it there. It's still there. The connection is so good. You still feel it there. It's not tense, but it's there. And of course, just stopping when it feels right and getting yourself nicely prepared for your relaxation. So whatever you need, your blankets, your socks. And whilst you are back to resting, I just want to give a little caveat. We're going to be using the relaxation today is going to be using the image of a spider's web. So for those any arachnophobes out there, to say no spiders were harmed in the making of this yoga nidra. There aren't any about, okay? It's just the web. And if you don't like it, you can just ignore them. So, starting off by making one more time these lines of connection. So that you can start to feel from the arch of the foot on both sides, strong lines coming up the inner thighs into the belly button. And equally from the heels of the hands, lines of connection coming up the inner arms, down to the breast, to the sternum, and down to the belly button. And then draw a line from your right foot up through half the arch, through the belly button, across and down to the left arm and the left wrist. And then the same the left foot, drawing a line all the way through the belly button and across the body to the right hand. We're very clear where these lines of connections are. And then we'll take our attention to our right thumb. And with that thumb awareness, we'll draw a line here, another strand of this spider's web, through the arm, through the chest, down to the belly button. Same for the first finger. Through the arm, through the sternum to the belly button. Middle finger, ring finger, all the strands of connection all the way down to the belly button and the little finger. Bringing your awareness to the left thumb. Again, draw that line of connection through the arm, down through the breastbone to the sternum to the belly button. First finger, through the arm to the belly button. Middle finger, ring finger, and little finger. Let your attention now wander. You've got these 10 strands at the top now, wandering to do the bottom. So feeling your right big toe. And again, drawing a strand of connection from that big toe through the side of the knee and up into the belly button. First toe over the knee to the belly button. Second toe. Third toe. And little toe. And the same on the left side. Left big toe first through the slightly outer edge of the leg, outer edge of the knee into the belly button. First toe over the knee, the belly button. Third toe. And little toe. So we can feel all these 20 strands of connection from the fingers and the toes all coming into the belly button, those bigger, stronger strands from the arches and the heels of the hands. And spiders' webs need a little bit more connection and strength. That's why we have the spiral. So starting at the belly button, start to feel your awareness spiral out from the belly button, creating and joining all these strands. As you rotate around the belly button, spiraling out to cover more of the belly, to cover more and more down towards the pelvis, up towards the diaphragm. Slightly lopsided, this spider's web, because you've got to cover the chest as well, all the way up to the shoulders, into the armpits, down to the hips. And so you can feel this web of connection and strength at the front of your body, held together by the strands from the fingers, the feet. And so as you breathe in, we're aware of these lines of connection. And as you breathe out, you can feel that there's strength there, but spiders' webs are also flexible. So as you breathe out, you can feel how the body sinks into the floor and lets go into the ground. Keep breathing in, feeling the strong webs of connection at the front of the body. And as you breathe out, feeling that letting go into the floor, just that little bit more. Just for a while, following that breath, that awareness, but knowing that
we will be wanting to be able to feel both of these awarenesses at the same time at some point. And maybe letting the breath go and seeing, can I feel them both at the same time? Just being with that awareness, breathing in. If your mind wanders, just bring it back to this awareness. And whenever you feel the need, just letting all the awarenesses of the breath go and just noticing the two at the same time. That sense of strength at the front of the body and that ability to let go at the back of the body, felt at the same time. And so with this sense of awareness, relaxation, just letting you go to keep relaxing for as long as you like. And see you all next week.